maybe you could talk to them again. I'm thinking could help you the way it helped me.
So what was this other dimension you was talking about?
World of the day. The clock's ticking.
It's coming for all of us.
I'm not stopping until I get every last one of them.
Am I dead?
You die a little every day. Sometimes you have to die a little more to stay alive.
The Lord Winter's son has come to our doorstep. Are you ready? Can anyone ever really be ready? Quickly now. Let go.
Boom, there you go. That was a trailer for G.O.D, Givers of Death, dropping in theaters and digital on demand on August 5th. I'm Kuya P. This is Nerds Rule the World. And as you see on the screen, I have a special guest, the writer, the director, the star, Addison Henderson. How are you, sir?
Oh man, I'm doing great. Man. I'm glad to be here, man. To talk about my movie to your audience. This is gonna be great, man. Thanks for having me.
Oh, definitely. Thank you, man. Dude, you do it all in this. As I said, you're the writer, the director, the star. Those are a lot of hats, and as a filmmaker myself, woo, that's a lot of work. That's a lot of work. So props to you on doing that. Tell me how this all began, the genesis, how this germ of an idea first started, pre-pro, all of that, into creating this project.
Yeah. I'll tell you. And I'll keep it 100% with you. I was during the time before I made this movie. I was going through a sort of a mental wasteland. As you know, I was battling some depression. My father was very sick. My friend around me, one of my closest friends, were very sick. I was going through a divorce, and I wanted to create a symbol for what was happening to me, in a way for me to paint a wall of my life during this period of time. And the high concept with a pandemic striking, I actually came up with the idea before the pandemic, was the high concept of it. But really what I wanted to do was tell a story of redemption, a story of hope, and trying to really understand why people do the things that they do, right? Instead of nailing somebody in a coffin and closing the door on them, I really want to try to understand why people do the things that they do. And, you know, searching for that higher calling. Why am I here on the planet? What am I supposed to do? What is my purpose? You know, I approach my art from a spiritual background. You know, I grew up that way. My father taught me a number of great things. And so for me, when I go into making movies, no matter if it has action, high concept, it's definitely going to have that spiritual basis in there, because that is who I am, you know? And so the process for creating this movie, well, I said, okay, I'm going to create this as a symbol for my life. And so I was like, all right, let's get to it. And so I just started writing. I was sitting at the park watching Jaws, in the park with one of my best friends, Chadwick Boseman. And I had the idea and I said, yo, this is what I want to do. He said, what? That's crazy. He's like, how you going to pull it off? I said, I don't know, man. I'm going to write it though. I'm going to write it. I got to write it. I got to write it. Yeah. And so we went to go work on 21 Bridges, and I'm sitting on set, you know, typing, popping it off, writing away. And then it came to me and I was like, all right, after this, after we go home for the holidays, I'm going to Buffalo, New York, my hometown. And I'm just going to go there and set up shop without the money. I'm going to get the money and I'm going to start pre-production, basically. I started location scouting and all that, because being from Buffalo, I knew like some of the major locations that I would use, like $1 million set pieces that I can get for practically nothing, right? Yeah. And so, and you know, and being that, okay, I didn't have a lot of money once we raised it. And I was like, okay, I got a high concept, sci-fi, apocalyptic. How am I going to create that? I have to use what's around me. So I used my mind and my team that got behind me, and we started location scouting in the dead of snow. My beard was freezing over, you know, doing the whole thing. And we started putting promos out. We started doing press. And next thing you know, a couple of Hollywood producers called me. It was like, yo, I heard you got a script. Send it to me. Sent that off to one producer. Within about a week, had the first half of the money. Boom. I was like, okay. I was like, all right, we doing this. And then my boy Joe Wilson, who's the showrunner over of Equalizer with Queen Latifah, he just got a promotion. Big up, Joe. He said, yo, hey, what's going on with your movie? And I was like, we in the process. We need more money. He was like, send me the script. I got some people. And he sent me the Lagra Lang Group. And they won an Oscar because they EP'd a doc that's on Netflix now about the name runs past me, but it's about the Russian doping scandal. And so they were EPs on that, and they read the script, called me, and that was it. That was a wrap. They gave me the money. We was ready to go. I was like, thank God. You know what I mean? And my team was so strong because they were like, there were some days when I was like, I don't know, guys. I don't know if we're going to be able to make this happen.
Yeah.
But they was like, hey, look, it's all good. Stick with it.
Wow.
Don't move. And then Chad called me. He was like, yo, when you come back to LA, because I was going back and forth because my daughter lives in LA. He's like, when you come back, let's sit down with the script. I got a couple of ideas I want to run past you. So we had 2 sessions, and he just kind of gave me some notes, and I would sit there with him, and I'd be like, okay, that sounds great. Taking the notes, and then made the script even tighter. And then from that, we get the movie done in the span of 9 months, though. This is crazy. From script to screen was a 9-month period for an indie. Like I wrote the script, raised the money, shot it, had a test screening all within 9 months. And then after that summer, the pandemic hit. And I was like, oh, snap.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I thought the movie be out a long time ago, like, you know, before the pandemic hit. And so we were kind of in this kind of stalemate, but then we ended up winning best screenplay at the American Black Film Festival.
Let's go.
It was just like the universe was just working with me. And because I had put so much effort into it and in my whole life's journey and my message and what I'm trying to do, it just all kind of came together to this pivotal moment in my life to allow it to happen. And then after that, Buffalo 8 stepped in and said, we want to distribute this. And boom, you know, we're on the network after I run in the theaters and on demand and all that. We're on Showtime. You know what I mean? And it's just like for a cat that did all the jobs. And I didn't do it by myself. I did all the jobs, but I didn't do it by myself.
Yeah.
My team, Leah Cohen-Mays, Trent, Matt Cappuccino, my producers, all the people that held me up on their shoulders to make sure I can get this done. Much props to them, you know?
I love that. Yo, that's so inspiring, brother. Like,
you,
real
man.
talk. Because I've been in this game a long time. So to hear just, you know, these stories of success, you know, after struggle and putting in that work,
right.
It helps keeps cats like me going.
Yeah,
you
man.
know, that we can still make that happen. First off, man, rest in peace to Chadwick Boseman, man. Your friend. You know, a lot of us are affected, and even more so now after they dropped that Wakanda Forever trailer at San Diego.
Man.
Woo!
Dog, you know? I was in New York, just visiting some family, and I'm riding through the Holland Tunnel from Jersey, going over to New York for dinner, and I happened to see the trailer, and I just broke down crying on the way over, man. It was just that emotional, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, but you know, here's the thing though, and one thing we have to keep in mind, me and my boy, his producing partner Logan Coles, we always talk about it. We say we had experienced such highs with Chad and seeing the world and him creating some great art. And it's like, man, how can it ever get better than this? But we can't look at it like that, like, oh, you know, not being better, right? It's like those were the days then, right? But now our best days are in front of us because we're still here, and we have to continue to shine that light, and he lives on through us.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Woo, man. That also, as you were saying, you know, because this film, you know, you got it done prior to the pandemic. So did he get a chance to see a cut?
Yeah, he did. He got a chance to see the cut, and he loved it, man. You know, because he wanted to. You know, honestly, he came when we were shooting. He was battling, going through his stuff. Yeah. He didn't have to. He came to Buffalo while I was shooting and stayed with me for a few days just to be a good brother and a good friend, just to see it through. And it was great, man. He didn't have to do that. You know what I mean? You know, he had already done enough for me in my life. You know, just by being there, seeing the whole machine of Marvel and all the other movies and seeing how they work and being an indie filmmaker, I really got to get a sense of how the the big machine works. So
Oh,
it
yeah.
allows me to make certain decisions, you know, as I'm going forward as an indie filmmaker, to put things together in a way that can be bigger than, you know what I'm saying, bigger than my budget, you know?
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. No, I feel that having worked on those big sets and as well, and yeah, oh yeah, it's take these lessons, y'all. All you indie cats that are out there watching this as well. It's so real.
Yeah, man.
There's so much you can pull from that. One of the things I read, and you made this amazing statement as well that came out with like the press kits in regards to Givers of Death. You know, you spoke on Chadwick being a part of this and what he was going through. And again, rest in peace. And again, my condolences to you as a friend of his. Every story I've heard has been that he's such a remarkable human being, and we're better for having been in that experience, man. So blessings to you. What touched me as well is the tsunami. As an Asian American, you know, and everything that we've experienced as Asian Americans in with what has transpired with the major disasters. And what I noticed, you wrote about how the tsunami hit and how that inspired, and this phone booth, and you kind of continue that story element into this film. Can you talk on that?
Absolutely. I would love to talk on that. Thank you for asking about that. I don't think enough people ask me that when I do interviews, man, because it's really an important part, you know, because we're all searching, you know, when we lose people, or, you know, we go through things in life, or we've seen better days, we search for that feeling again, you know, that championship feeling, you know, as a sports dude, that feeling of, oh, on top of the world, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And so when we lose people, we try to reconnect with them. Our brain and our brain waves and our spirituality, we dream about these people. They talk to us in our dreams. And so I was listening to this NPR show, This American Life, and it was talking about this phone booth in Japan. And this guy, after the tsunami, he had this phone booth, and he set up a little rotary phone in the booth and at the top of the hill in his garden, and people will come there to reconnect to the people they lost, to let them know that they were okay, and so they could be okay over there on the other side, and everybody could be at peace. Yo, dog, again, I'm an emotional dude. When I heard that, I was like, oh man, tears. You know what I'm saying? Tears, like, you know what I mean?
Same, bro.
Yeah, and so I was like, man, you know, I'm telling this deep emotional story. I really wanted to introduce that wind phone into and make that a part of this whole concept, to add more to the high concept. And for me, that being able to go to that booth is the most important part of the movie, being able to do that, because it takes us into that otherworldly part of the film, into the mind. You know what I mean? And so, and I really wanted to pay homage to the wind phone and those people, and also put it in my movie to have it be more to an audience. You know what I mean? More audiences here in the US, or people that may haven't heard about it. And I was like, we got to put that in there. I think it's dope. It's emotional. And it's a great story.
Man, real talk. And I love that. I love those kind of elements as well that people can also connect with. It's crazy. Just I saw a little bit of the beginning of the film earlier this morning, and you know, having to make these choices, and you know, because we're coming out of pandemic. I actually am just coming out of COVID from 2 days ago. I was at San Diego Comic-Con because I wrote a comic book that launched, and we had a whole premiere and stuff like that.
Oh, congratulations.
And then I caught COVID coming off of that, and you know, it just puts things into perspective. I didn't catch COVID up until this point. I've been luckily to avoid it, and now I lived it, and okay. But just these different things put things into perspective. And as a person of color, and with what I write and what we create, you know, it all blends. And so I'm dying to watch this film. Everybody, again, it's going to drop August 5th in theaters, digital, on demand. Check it out. Support my man, Addison. It just sounds outstanding, man. And then reading more about your work. And again, I'd love to have a longer interview with you to talk on just how many different things you put, I think we as creators, that if we had a lived experience, and when we translate that into film, there's a better story there, you know, definitely, because it's coming from an experience.
Absolutely. And I just want to hit on what you're saying, because, you know, when I tell, because a lot of people I know are actors and whatnot, and some young actors, I tell them too, you know, living life is an important key to your work. Like, pay attention to things that are happening around you. Who's in your life? Your sequences in life. How did you get to the point you are? looking back and also using those things, you know what I mean? Because back at home, I come back to Buffalo all the time and I teach kids how to film make, high school,
I love
stuff
it.
like that, and I teach them speaking from your voice and your lived experiences is the start of it. And then you can take those lived experiences and create larger stories and transform them into superhero movies, high concept dramas, whatever they're going to be. But I'll tell you, man, when I was 12, my father, world traveler, preacher all over the place, he sent me to Trinidad to live in the jungle for the summer when I was 12 years old. And he said, son, I'm going to send you over here. I have some friends here. And I said, okay. And I said, I'll go. I want to do it. And that summer changed my life because I wasn't staying with other Black people. I was staying with Indians that come in Trinidad, and they didn't know. They looked at me. They were like, "Oh, he's not Black." So sometimes they would use slurs, and I would have to tell them, "No, you can't do that because I'm a Black man."
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. And so like the young kids and stuff that I was hanging out with, but it allowed me to understand them and allowed them to understand me. So it was a give and take. We got a chance to learn each other's culture, and then on top of that, I was living in the jungle, man. Walking through the field, cutting down sugarcane trees, eating sugarcane. My boy would be climbing a tree, getting coconuts. And it's those moments from my childhood, and it's those moments that I lived that I use for my art, and it makes me who I am today as a man, as a father, as an artist.
I love that. And I completely agree. Feel that. I was a military kid growing up, so I was raised all over the world. So to me, stepping outside of the comfort zone and stepping outside of the US was a great benefit to my education. I love it. And so in regards to that, man, I love that you go back to Buffalo. You went back to Buffalo, as you said, and filmed this. So you still bringing it back to the hometown is beautiful. And you created a post-apocalyptic film on top of that, which is, as an indie filmmaker, man, if you got to do a post-apocalyptic film or just a futuristic type joint, it's got to be done right. And you got to set it in a special way. And there's a way to do that. Because I've seen some crappy joints, but this joint is fire so far that I've seen, man. And kudos to you.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Buffalo provides, a rich rustic architecture. And so you see on a poster behind us, that's the old Grand Central Station, defunct now, right? A lot of people film there, but they use it in a certain way that maybe is not the best all the time, right? And I said, I'm gonna use it. We're gonna put the phone booth here, and we're gonna make this look like Blade Runner. This is my mind. You know what I mean? We're gonna make this look like Blade Runner. We ain't got a lot of money, but we're gonna do this right. You know what I'm saying? And it's about that, like you're saying, when you're a filmmaker, that life experience and using what's around you is very important to the success of your project. Because if you get on the wavelength with your mind, like, we're gonna do this like this, and it's positive, it's artistic, the people around you are just going to get in there and just like getting there like a team trying to win that championship, that Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? They're going to be all after the same thing, and you're going to be working in symmetry,
Heck yeah. I feel that. that. Awesome. So earlier I asked about, pre-production, what led to the film. Let's go back. So since we were talking about filming in Buffalo, production, where I think you said it was like 9 months, or how long?
9 months, for 9.5 months from script to screen. Yep.
Were you able to get everything that you intended? Were there any things you got to like pull back on, story wise? Yeah.
I think, I really believe we got what we were supposed to get. There are some scenes that we had to cut, you know what I mean? So some things ended up on the cutting room floor, but not many. Yeah. We reshot a couple of things because, what I was doing, I was like, okay, I had my editor on board. So as we were shooting, he's getting dailies and he's doing string outs for me. So I said, put this scene together. I need to see something. Yeah. And I thought, that don't work exactly like that. We need to change this shot. So we'd go back, do 1 or 2 days reshoots to get the stuff that I needed. You know what I mean? Now we're working with limited budget. Could I use more? Absolutely. But then you get more and that's still not enough. You know how it goes. Right. Yeah. And so we used what we had. You know what I mean, and made it happen. And one thing I'm really grateful for is the city of Buffalo, because I've been making movies here a long time. The film commission here treats me the best. They treat me amazing, man. And so, and the mayor of Buffalo, Byron Brown, my guy, he takes care of us as filmmakers, takes care of me. He's been knowing me since I was a kid. And so, they get together and they band together to they're not doing me like favors, but they just making sure I'm getting the best experience that I can.
Yeah.
You know, with filming here in Buffalo, so I can go out and then proliferate that out to other people to tell them to come shoot here. Because right now, Buffalo is a burgeoning film place. A lot of people are shooting in Buffalo because of the tax credit and things like that. Nice. So you know, I like to represent the 716. You know what I'm saying?
Let's go.
And shoot. We got another movie that we're shooting. It's Hitchcockian in a way. And we're shooting that in the spring. And so we're riding this wave of G.O.D. and taking that into the next project so we can continue to move and move and move.
Let's go. I love it, man. As that comes too, man, I want to holler at you. We got to definitely continue to show love and light, man. That's what it's all about, supporting each other.
Absolutely.
I had the question at the tip. Well, actually, it was a tip is actually what I was looking for, because you filmed this. I would assume I know you had another film that you did back when about your friend that you lost. Yeah. But for this particular film being a sci-fi film, what would you say is the biggest lesson to those filmmaker cats like myself that are watching this, those young cats? What would you say the biggest thing you learned while making Givers of Death that you would tell out to anybody out there, that you're telling to your students as well when you're up there in Buffalo?
I had done 2 feature documentaries before that, and I was always writing sci-fi and things like that. And, I can say that I learned really to trust myself even more. Because, people back in LA were like, oh man, you're going to do all the jobs. You're going to act, direct, produce, and star in it. And they were like, man, you crazy. I was like, you guys know me. You know I'm crazy. So you know what I'm saying? You already know that about me. So yeah, I'm doing all that. But I trusted my voice, I trusted myself, and I had prepared. You know what I mean? If that's one thing I can say to the filmmakers out there, the cast that are coming up, that are younger than me, that are the same age as me, that are older than me, and they're doing their first joint, like, listen, prepare. You know what I mean? And don't take no shortcuts, because shortcuts doesn't lead to goodness. You know what I mean? My dad used to say to me, excuses never replace good work, son. So don't make no excuses. Just do the work. Do it to the best of your ability. And for me, I try to do that with everything I do. And I also like to trust my voice and trust myself, and to know that I know, right? That's what my mom said. I know that I know. You know what I mean? That's that preacher in there. I know that I know. And I'm like, yeah. I know too, Ma. You know what I'm saying? And so that's the one thing. I trust myself, but then also I'm not gonna be too long-winded on this one. The team around you is very important. Choose wisely.
Definitely.
Make sure you are aligned, because if you aren't aligned, then you'll have chaos.
Yeah. Oh man, real talk, dude. I love your energy. I love your vibe. I can also see why, and again, mad respect to Chadwick, and we miss him, but I can see why he had you in his corner, because you're such a good dude, man. So I think, good people keep good people. So that's beautiful. Man, I love your energy. Y'all check out Givers of Death, G.O.D, August 5th. It's going to be in theaters, digital on demand. Support my man, Addison. Check out all his work. I will have his links in the description below. But for those also that might be driving while peeping this interview, how can people check you out online, Anderson?
Listen, you can follow me on socials as Real Addison. You on Twitter, on Instagram. That's it. Real Addison. You can go to my website, addisonhenderson.com. Check out some of my past work. And then please, August 5th, the Apple link is ready. Pre-order the movie. Go see it in theaters. It's playing in Chicago, Detroit, Buffalo, LA. Go see it in theaters to support. Get the movie online. Just watch it and know that this is not it. You're gonna see me again and again. And again, yeah, man. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, I can definitely vouch for my man. I ain't even see the whole film yet, but just the first 15 just got me like, okay, this ain't a regular independent film that I normally get to watch. From doing these. Much talent, man, and I love your story. Again, I can't wait to tell it. I'd love to have you back to talk all about how you came up as a filmmaker and how you're gonna even blossom. I'm just gonna get a snapshot, because I know you're gonna be a superstar, so I gotta get some of that love and before you get to the ether.
Man, whenever you're ready, just let me know. I'm back on.
Let's go. My man Addison Henderson. Check out Givers of Death, August 5th in theaters, digital on demand. It's your boy Kuya P. This is Nerds Rule the World.
That's it over there. I went there to talk to my wife, tell her I was gonna be all right. I didn't want her worrying about me. So, I guess you could say we both got what we needed that day. Come on. We're here. There it is.
This is it?
Go pick up the phone. It'll get you what you've been looking for.
When you pass through the waters, I will be with you. And when you go through the rivers, they will not overflow you. When you walk through the fire, you will not be burned.
I only did what they asked for. What they wanted. You're the plague.
Not all the lawmen were dead.
I'm not stopping until I get every last one of them.
You want peace, but you won't go get it. Go pick up the phone. It'll get you what you've been looking for.